What's good, friends? Welcome back to the Esports Awards. Another time we have another superstar with us, an interview, and this man is known best for doing this.
We have to know our map positions. Once we cross that line, like, look at this dude, bro. Just chill. The message to the team right now is just keep playing how you're playing. I mean, we've worked so hard for this moment. We're so prepared, and honestly, this is just like a family to us. This is us against the world, so.
That's right, folks. I'm here with Crowder from the Atlanta FaZe. Straight up, I mean, before we jump into it, congratulations. Y'all just won. That's a big deal.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
It's cool. I've been living in Atlanta for a couple of years now, so y'all are kind of like the hometown team. So it's cool to see you guys bring the dub home. But this is number 2 for you. So I guess the big question that the easy one is, what's the difference between winning as a coach or winning as a player?
Oh man. I feel like the biggest difference is, like, obviously as a coach, you can't like control what's going on in the game, like in the moment in Call of Duty. So it's a lot more stressful. That's for sure. I feel like when I was playing in those moments, there's a lot of pressure in that, but you don't really feel it as a player. You're so prepared, like you control everything, you call out everything. But as a coach watching that, that was just a way more stressful win that I have ever felt in my entire life.
You sort of like work different. You sort of work different styles, on the field when you're actually playing, running the guns versus being kind of the coach. Talk to me a little bit about the differences in the way you approach the game on the field versus off.
I mean, on the field when I was playing and I was a pro player and all that, it was more or less like making sure like I was at the top of my game and I knew what I was doing. On top of like trying to like manage the team, like in like a leadership perspective, it's still something that you really have to worry about yourself and like what's going on like in your own gameplay. Where like as the coach, it's more or less like taking a step back and making sure everyone on the team is on the same page. And then on top of that, making sure they're on the same page, like outside of game too, just like, as a team or teammates and all that, like making sure they're on the same page outside and inside a game. So it's a lot different, but it's just more like way more managing skills in the sense of coaching, where like you have to make sure not only are they on top of their game, which is more of like their job, but still you have to make sure they're doing it and not slacking off. But on top of that, making sure like they trust each other and they know what they're doing. And for every single play that's about to come up in these maps against these teams, they know like they're ready to go.
That's the big deal. I notice across different esports, fans kind of like, yeah, the coach writes the plays, and I've seen basketball, but like the mental of it all, like that's a whole different position. People don't realize that coaching is a discipline, not just a title. I think that mental aspect is a big deal. Talk to me a little bit about bringing the mental in for the guys.
Yeah, I think the mental side of esports is just so like important, and just the way like esports plays out, and especially Call of Duty, you could be the best player in the world, and there's so many talented players in the CDL. Like, I can go down a really very very long list, but it's just a lot of the teamwork and the mental side of things is really what takes you to the next level and keeps you on that same page. Like if you have the 4 best players in the world and they don't get along, they don't get good practice, they're not like, really learning from each other or trusting each other in game. Like it doesn't matter who they're playing or what they're doing. They're most likely not going to win just because of how like competitive the CDL is nowadays. Like there's so many teams that can beat you on any given day. So you have to really make sure when you're showing up to practice every day, like everyone on the team is putting their input in. Everyone on the team is on the same page. Everyone on the team trusts each other of like what they're saying. It's not like if Simp is talking to a BZ, it's not in like, a negative way. It's more like he wants me to be the best player that I can be. And like if they really understand that and they communicate that and like they are like they become that unit, that's like when you really take it to the next level. And I think that's like the most important thing in like almost probably any esport, but specifically Call of Duty, since that's where I'm experienced. It's really, really important.
You mentioned a big thing, kind of like how good the teams are now in the CDL. The league has drastically changed from when you jumped in. What was that, 2013? You kind of like hit the ground running versus now 2021. What's the biggest difference? What are some of the biggest differences that you notice between professional Call of Duty today versus way back when?
I think professional Call of Duty, like back then when I was playing, like it was serious, and not to take anything away from it, but now that it's just growing and growing and growing, and there's just like so many big tournaments and all this stuff going on. You have coaching staffs, you have analysts, you have people doing crazy numbers and everything about like where people push, how they push it, like what routes they take. There's just so much more to it and so much more practice that's like consistent and more serious, I would say, where I just feel like every team and their teamwork is just on a whole nother level than it used to be. Like I think a couple of years back, there would be a few teams that really got it, but not like the way like most teams in the league get it now. So I just think no matter how good you are, like compared to back then, like you could kind of outskill people. Where now you have to really have the skill, the talent, but then you have to have the teamwork and the other things too. So it's pretty crazy how far Call of Duty Esports has come, but it's actually so awesome.
It's sick. It's kind of like the first football teams had a coach. Now you have like offensive coordinators.
Yeah, I got a whole coaching staff.
Exactly. Like it's crazy to look at how like the games have kind of come since the jump. I mean, playing as a player, you kind of got to see it all grow up. Do you think that your experience as a player has kind of prepared you for your role as a coach, now a championship winning coach? Do you think that your experience as a player kind of attributed to that, or?
Oh, absolutely. I think the biggest thing for me is like when I was a player, I was more of like the leadership role as a player. I was never like the superstar, like standout guy that like took over games, but I always tried to keep the team on the same page. But at the same time, like just looking at my individual career myself, there were so many things that like I was doing wrong in practice or I would slack off on. And if I had someone there from the start of my career doing what I do today, like, when I get on and I have a bad day, if I'm not calling out properly or whatever it is, you're just having an off day, have someone in your ear yelling at you saying, like, make sure you're doing this, like, make sure you're like actually staying on task. This is what we're working on today. So much other things to like sit down and watch VOD together as a team or just with yourself. Like those things go such a long way. And I think not having those as much like with my own pro career and seeing like what I could have done so much better, like looking back now, like just to make myself more successful and better helps me now when I'm coaching. Like, how can I provide these players with like, the best outlet of resources that they could ever have to become the best players that they can be.
The infrastructure, the support system. That's really what we see level up, both like you said, with the big picture with the league and individually, on your end. All right, real quick, we're gonna have two kind of like fun sections. This is the first of the two. Kind of easy though. This is top picks. I'm gonna name a topic, and it's up to you to name your two favorites. So if I were to say like colors, you say like blue or green or whatever your favorites are. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So straight off the bat, your favorite top two Call of Duty games.
Top two Call of Duty games: Black Ops 2. And oh man, this is tough. I would say Black Ops 2 and then probably Black Ops 3.
All right. Black Ops. Feeling it. Weapon.
Oh, the MSMC from Black Ops 2, I love. And then oh man, I don't know. The P90 from COD 4.
All right. Can't hate that one. All right. Top two maps.
Raid Hardpoint. And Scrapyard CTF from MW2.
Absolutely. I was waiting for the throwback pick.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the throwback pick. All right. Top two toughest teams you've played against.
Me personally, the Optic Dynasty and AW for sure. And Complexity from Ghost and Black Ops 2 just combined.
That was a run. And I remember that Complexity team.
Yeah. I was a part of that. Against it. Not fun.
Best COD player ever. Top two. That's a tough one.
Best COD player ever. I think you got to put Crim6 up there just from just everything he's done in Call of Duty has just been absolutely insane. And then I'm saying Simp. I think Simp's going to be one of the best players ever.
I like it. Respect it. Can't hate on those two. So, all right, I'm going to ask you a couple more questions before we jump into some more fun. Off the back of that one, if you had to put together a top three all-time COD players, who would it be? I just asked you the top two, so I guess just give me a third one.
So a top three, so a third one?
Yeah.
Dude. Beezy.
Word.
But if we're talking like just all time though, like honest, like more serious, like if we're talking all time, like and like just the career and stuff, I said Crim6, Simp, probably like Formal, Scump, like one of them, like something like of that, like up there. There's so many. I don't know. That's such a long debate. Like as soon as that gets like, that can of worms gets opened up. It's just a long
As
debate,
soon
but
as you say the term like Mount Rushmore, everybody, no,
yeah,
man, I don't want to. I
it
don't know.
becomes so hard to answer, dude. Like, there's so many talented, good players, and like, there's so much to be like done still. So yeah, I don't know. That's a hard one.
It does. I like that last bit. There's so much to be done still. I mean,
Yeah.
looking at the numbers that come up, even just this last year, like we're stepping forward. I think the sport has kind of like hit its stride as
Mhm.
as a mature game. You look at some of the games that have been around for a long time, not just esports, but like trad sports and stuff. And you look for the moment that they became like a staple. I think COD has been kind of doing that. And so coming back to it, I thought that question was going to go in a different direction, so I'm going to ask you where I thought it was going. Who would you like to coach that you haven't really? Who would you like to kind of coach and work with in that capacity in current Call of Duty?
Oh, in current Call of Duty, I guess like if you like, I would of course say like the players that I coach right now are an absolute blessing.
Yeah, I mean,
But
like who
if
you
they just
haven't
weren't,
yet?
if they just weren't a part of this, um, probably like I guess like if you're taking like one player, like probably Shotzi or someone like like over on that team. Like I think they're really hardworking. I respect like as much as they're our rivals, I also do respect their work ethic and how much they put into the game. And I like working with people on that kind of mindset. So I feel like working with like his team and like him specifically would be fun.
I think that's kind of the mentality that you have to take as not
Yeah.
just the players mature, but as the game matures. What is it in a player that you look to? As a coach now, what do you look to? What do you look for in a player to be like, all right, that guy's going to be a winner soon. Got to look out for him.
Oh, I feel like it's like when you watch them play, you can all the players are so talented, but you can see sometimes that like some players are just super super gifted, just like the way they move around the map and like the way they're able to move and shoot at the same time. There's definitely a skill gap to that, and there's some players that just have it and they're incredible, and then there's some players that are pro players, but like they're pro players for different reasons. But I think the biggest thing that stands out, man, is just like attitude and like the way people approach the game. Like you can kind of see the way people like, handle themselves in like practice and like just when you're talking to them outside, like getting their thoughts about just like what goes wrong, like why did they lose that, like what they're going to do to change it and a bunch of other things. Like I feel like seeing like the work ethic of people is like what you really that's like when you know how far they're going to go. And if like you find someone with like extreme talent and then you see them like have like crazy work ethic, that's just when you know they're going to be an absolute superstar. Like it's pretty easy to see, and I think that's probably the main thing in probably anything in life, but like especially Call of Duty, like work ethic and like making sure you're being a good person to the people around you and like lifting people up is really important.
Facts. That's spoken like a real coach. That's a real coach's answer. I like where your head's at, man. All right, with the new COD Vanguard coming up in November, how do you think that's going to change things? What do you think the upcoming season is going to look like with Vanguard?
Honestly, in the sense of just like Call of Duty as a whole and all these teams, I don't think much is going to change. Like, I think so many of these players have been through it for years and years where like titles change. They're still the best players in the world. They still have that work ethic that they're going to learn this game no matter what it is, from like the ins and outs of it. And I think Vanguard's going to be really fun, man. I've watched some of the beta and I think it looks awesome so far. I'm super excited for a new season. Sledgehammer is awesome. They've made great games in my opinion. I love what they do with the Call of Duty, and I just think it's gonna be a fun year. I think it's awesome to have like the new title every year and watch the players and people and everyone grow and try and figure it out first, and like find the recipe to like figure out how to win. And it's just a fun year. So I'm super super excited for a new title, and especially with my team, like going through a new title with the same people and like figuring it out is probably one of my favorite parts of coaching. So.
That's one of the cool things about the Call of Duty world that we don't really see elsewhere. MOBAs get their patches and players have to adjust to like different metas and stuff, but y'all go through a different game every single year. What's that like kind of going as soon as you get the info, learning the game? How is that sort of like a hurdle that you guys as a culture just kind of like accept, and that's a part of being a Call of Duty player now?
Yeah, it's just a part of being a Call of Duty player, and it's tough. It's not the easiest sometimes. I would say the switch between game to game or title to title is a little bit more tough when it was going from jetpacks back to boots on the ground.
Right.
Like when that was like a little bit, that's like a huge change because that's not just a change to Call of Duty. That's also a change to like how you aim. Like in Call of Duty boots on the ground, a lot of your aim is on the ground, and like the only thing they can really do is go horizontal, like left and right and strafe left and right, like nothing crazy. In jetpacks, you're going vertically in the air, you're going left, right, dashing, and all this stuff, all these abilities, and there's a lot going on. So that's where like certain players actually do benefit because of like just the skill gap of just aiming and shooting and moving. But other than that, man, it's just you just gotta have that work ethic and learn the game. You know, you gotta figure out. You have to accept. I think the biggest thing actually is accepting the fact that you're playing a new Call of Duty. Like we won, like in Cold War last year. We have to accept the fact that the next game is not that game anymore, and we have to drop all of that stuff that's happened in the past and learn from the ground up again. It's a new Call of Duty, it's a new spawn system, new weapons, new game modes potentially. Like you never know what's going on. So I think that's like just the biggest thing you need to do is just accept that and then learn it and have some fun with it.
As a guy that jumps around from game to game, I think that's the coolest thing about the Call of Duty scene is like that's just something that happens every year, and y'all go through it. I think that's really respectable, and the grind is real big, and so it's cool to see everybody kind of work towards that. But I mean, y'all worked hard and worked towards the championship, took that one home, and so now, all right, let's fast forward. Let's say it's November. You're in the monkey suit. We're live in Texas. You win Coach of the Year. How are you going to celebrate?
Oh man, if I were to win Coach of the Year, how I'd celebrate, I would be extremely grateful, and I would celebrate with my team if I could. If I was with some of my people on my team or the coaching staff or anything of the sort, like I would say the people I'd be most grateful for are the owners of Atlanta FaZe and then my coaching staff. Like if I were to win Coach of the Year, it'd be nice to accept that award, but it'd really be hard to at the same time without giving major credit to the people that work with me on my coaching staff, like my assistant coach, RJ, my analyst, Austin, my S&D analyst, and John or Tupac. Like those guys make my life so much easier to work with the team. And then, of course, the players too. Like they make it easy too. But just having them help me, like, facilitate this team to be the best team that they can be is the reason why I get a lot of the credit. And I feel like when I get a lot of that credit, they don't, and they deserve so much more. So I don't know. I'd celebrate with them, but I would really remind them that like this award is not just my award; it's all of ours.
Man, another straight up coach answer. Which that's not a negative, by the way. I love where the head's at. I think it's a really positive place where you kind of like draw the energy from. But before we say goodbye, here's that other kind of like fun part. We're gonna do quick response. So I'm just gonna say this or that, and you're gonna give me an answer real quick. All right?
Yeah.
All right. Off the rip. Okay, good. An easy one. Nuketown or Hijacked?
Nuketown.
There it is. Sonic or Mario?
Mario.
Movies or TV?
Ooh, movies.
M16 or AK-47?
AK-47.
Dogs versus cats?
Dogs.
Black Ops or Modern Warfare?
Black Ops.
Yeah, I know. Hamburger or hot dog?
Hamburger.
MP40 Vector?
Ooh, MP40.
If you could time travel, would you go forward or backwards in time?
Backwards.
Instagram, Twitter?
Twitter.
Okay, here's a real one. Player or coach?
Coach.
Xbox, PlayStation?
PlayStation.
Rust versus Shipment?
Shipment.
Would you rather be an Olympic gold medalist or a Nobel Peace Prize winner?
Oh, gold medalist, I think. That's a tough one.
That's a tough one. I like that one. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
No.
FAMAS or ACR?
ACR.
There it is. I liked a couple of those answers. I do want to say, if I could ask, where are you from originally?
New York.
Word. I say Mario, and I always get yelled at. People say it's Mario. See, I'm just saying.
Yeah. See, no, you said Mario, and that's no lie. That's exactly what I thought in the back of my head. Like, oh, you said Mario, like me. But every time I say it on my stream or something, it's always everyone says it's not Mario, it's Mario, and I'm like, it's Mario. But
right?
I actually thought the same exact thing.
Listen, Mario's from New York. We say his name correctly, folks. It's Mario.
Absolutely.
Crowder, thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute blast. Any shout outs you want to give before we let you go?
Shout out to everyone that supports Atlanta FaZe, me personally, and all the players and coaching staff and ownership that I've worked with on Atlanta FaZe. It's been incredible. So Super grateful for all you guys. Thank you very much for supporting, and hopefully we have a great year next year.